What's up, home slice? Lucas here. So I made a video about how I would learn to do a backflip for the first time, the steps I would take to learn to achieve a backflip. However, I did not make a video on what I would do differently if I was learning the backflip again, as in if I already landed it and I wanted to master it. Well, there are three huge things, three huge mistakes that I wish I could go back and do differently. I'm gonna share those with you. Hopefully you won't make the same mistakes, or maybe this will be for your entertainment purposes, but dang. Three things I wish I could go back and learn differently when I was learning to master the backflip. But you gotta focus. Look, I wrote this down. So the time frame that I achieved my first backflip on the ground is a little blurry, but it was somewhat about 11 years ago, yes. I remember it was right around the time when I got my wisdom teeth out. They may have gotten my wisdom teeth, but they ain't taking my wisdom. Ugh. Anyways, when it comes to me landing the backflip for the first time and then practicing it session after session, what is the first thing I would change? Would it potentially be that super cringy jump turn setup that I would have to do in order to get myself to go over into a backflip? Literally, I would have to do this super skippy, dumb looking cringe jump turn 180 in order to get myself over the fear for doing a backflip. Would I change that? No, actually not. That's totally fine. It would be working on landing my backflips with my chest up. Yo guys, I'm not sure if you can see it from these examples. Actually, I'm pretty certain you can see it, but dang, look at that chest. Every time in these old examples when I was landing a backflip, it's literally like I land ending like this. Straight down, chest down, nah. Now you see, the problem isn't necessarily that it looks stupid, because I mean, what is looking stupid? That's just an opinion. In my head at the time, I was like, it's a land. A land's a land. You're landing this backflip on your feet, you don't have to put your hands down, so it counts. And I mean, technically it does count. But the problem would arise later when I would strive for more tricks, for combos and tricks. You see, one of my big dreams was always to get gainer switches. And it took 8 years later, after achieving my first backflip, heck, after achieving my first cheat gainer, to get my first gainer switch. 8 years! And I am blaming this on practicing that poor technique of basically keeping my chest down for every land of the backflip that I practiced during my early stages. The reason I did this is because at the time, I was really work-oriented when it comes to training. As in, when I was learning to do a certain move, I would be like, okay, did you get this many attempts in, this many reps in before you can call it a day? I didn't necessarily look at the quality of those attempts. I just looked at the number. So for instance, the backflip, I would be like, for my training session today, I want to have 10 backflips incorporated in there. So I would do 10 backflips. Wop, 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 wop. It didn't matter if my chest was down like it was. Landing on my feet, that's all that counted. Doing the backflip, doing the back whip, that's all that mattered. And the problem with that was I didn't take any time to think about maybe working on my technique. So it was all a numbers game. Now this worked for me. It works for me for a ton of different moves, and it still works to this day. It's actually a good technique. However, I think training 100% just numbers isn't always the best idea. I think you should divide it up. 50-50, 80-20, but not 100%. I think if I would have worked on those early stages, me trying to land with my chest up, I think it would have made learning future tricks way easier, especially combos, especially those gainer switches. Probably by now I would be able to do maybe 3. Can't do 3 yet. 2's my max. I was close, but no cigar, not yet. Hey, maybe 2021, dreams come true, right? All right, let's move on. All right, the second thing I wish I would have done differently when learning to do the backflip, when learning to master the backflip. I say master in quotations because Many of the form freaks out there would say, don't you dare call yourself a master. The second thing I wish I would have done differently kind of relates to the first one, but I think it would have helped me even more. And that is working on my backflip to back handspring, or backflip or backflip to makaku, something where I continue my momentum. This is something I think a lot of people just starting to learn flips can benefit from. If you're just starting to learn your basic flips and you're thinking like, oh, I might want to get into tricking, I don't know, all those combos, you know, it's a little much. You know what, it doesn't matter, just do it anyways, okay? If you do one flip, practice going into something else right after the flip. This gets you used to practicing continuing your momentum, something I neglected early on in the early stages. At most, luckily, I had a few training sessions here and there where I would practice back handspring, or back handspring, and then I would try to do a backflip or something, but it was very rare and very, very here and there. It didn't happen often, but luckily at least I did it a little bit. I wish I would have done it a lot more. I wish I would have worked on it at least 50%, yeah, 50% of the time, doing a backflip and then a back handspring. I think this would have gotten me used to continuing my momentum backwards, getting me better and more ready for doing more advanced tricks in the future. Also, I think it would have helped me keep my chest up more, which is the first problem. I think where I was going wrong was I was thinking, I want to bomb these flips huge, very high. I don't care about practicing my momentum so much right now. I want to get them so high and just be landing so confidently before I start, you know, maybe backflip or whatever, or before I start doing like combos and whatnot. But honestly, I think you can work on everything together and benefit more from that. So I wish I would have done that. I think it would have helped me out a lot more with combos, with tricking combos, with just doing a backflip with my chest up in the first place. And then especially, like I'm saying, those gainer switches, man. All right, guys, and number three kind of goes off of number two, kind of goes off of number one. Well, yeah. So number three is expand. I wrote it down right here, expand. Number three, the third thing I wish I would have done differently when I was learning the backflip is expand my horizons. So what the heck does this mean? What I mean is try to just kind of change things up a little bit. I was working on the backflip, the back whip, or the back to chest flop on the like I mentioned in number one, I was so numbers, you know, hit those reps. But it wasn't until later when I'm like, ooh, maybe we could spice this up a little bit. Land on one foot, come out of it sideways. Try to do a flash kick. The very first thing I did when learning the backflip and trying to hit those numbers, you know, training, you know, gotta hit the back, gotta train 10 times today, is that stupid run up 180 to backflip. Yeah, that, you see how that looks? That just looks great. All right, guys, I'm doing a backflip. Here it goes, here it goes. Whoa! So yeah, the run up jump 180, sure, but that's it. And then the second thing I started to do, thankfully I expand a little, was I worked on the round off backflip. And that was just because I really thought the round off backflip looked super awesome and you could get super high. Or at least I thought I'd get high. Anyways, I wish I would have just expanded a little bit, you know, try to land on one foot, land with the legs spread, land a little sideways, do a flash kick. Maybe I could have started to work on the Arabian instead of wait 8 years or so. That's right, I waited so long before I started expanding new tricks that it got progressively harder to get my body to do different things. You know what I mean? When you're first learning something, your mind is malleable. You know, as stupid as that sounds, it's kind of true. It's like you're open to be shaped. You're open to shape your movements into however you want. But the longer you train something, the longer you repeat something, repetition, the more solid it becomes, which is a good thing for learning certain things and for learning core fundamentals. But when you're trying to get creative, trying to expand your horizons, trying to learn new tricks, you basically just become hardened to learning them, and it becomes way harder to learn them, which is why I think it took me so long to learn variations, new tricks, combos, the Arabian, for crying out loud. All of these things came like 8 years later when I really started to dive deep back into it, and I had to break through these hardened walls. Those are the top 3 things. I have some honorable mentions. One thing I wish I would have kind of figured out a lot better back then, I could do this now, maybe I should, is work on my round off to backflip the right way. Not that I did it a wrong way, but the thing is when I eventually started attempting to do back fulls, or backflip 360s I called them at the time, backflip 360s, I would basically cart the wrong way to set that momentum up for that 360. So I would have to go in and then shift my momentum the other way and go for it. And it kind of worked in the early stages. It was just a mind bender, but eventually you would see now can't really get away with that. I don't know, maybe I could, but it's just so trippy and so weird. The thing is, I would have to cart the other way. And finally, another thing I want to mention, I think I also mentioned this in another video, I think maybe the front flip video, is I wish I would have utilized the trampoline more. I think at the time I stayed away from the trampoline because I thought it would make me soft. I think I mentioned this before in a video, but yeah, it's not gonna make you soft. It's in fact gonna help you with your flip. It's gonna help you with the air timing, and it's going to help you basically further dig it into your muscle memory. As long as you're still practicing it on the ground with the trampoline, side to side, I think if you kept it at 50-50, it wouldn't hurt at all. In fact, it would probably help you excel to the next level. I wish I would have utilized it. I stayed away from it because I'm like, oh, it's gonna make me weak. But I think I could have got way more attempts, way more practice. I think I could have definitely worked on my form way more on the trampoline. It would have been so much better to work on that. Oh, man. Take this little bit of advice from me, change it up so you don't get stuck in the same frustrating situations that I'm in, so that you can improve better than I have, get way better than me. Have a great freaking summer this year, baby. It's getting nice out. With that being said, I'm gonna film for you guys some more tutorials, some more 1-minute tutorials, more other videos coming out. I'm thinking about making a vlog for you guys. You guys have been saying in the comments you miss my vlogs. I appreciate that. You know what? Maybe I got one coming for you. So with that being said, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope this advice helps you all out. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. We could do one on the cork. Similar mistakes to this, but maybe a little funnier here and there, maybe a little bit different here and there. So let me know if you guys want to see something like this for like the cork or any other flip for that matter. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe. I have more videos coming out. I hope you all have a great day. Peace. I will see you all in the next video.